This grandmother spent nearly 2 years in prison, all based on the word of a Phoenix police officer with a history of dishonesty. Francis Salazar was finally released when the court learned that officer was a documented liar and that his history was kept secret. Salazar filed a federal lawsuit, and so far, Phoenix is losing.
It's why the city is appealing part of that case before there's even a trial, and they just argued their side in court. Here's ABC 15 Chief Investigator Dave Biscobee.
We'll proceed to hear argument in the next case on the calendar, which is Francis Salazar versus the city of Phoenix.
This is the U.S. Ninth Circuit Court, and this three-judge panel is hearing the city's appeal. Walking up to the mic, that's the city's hired attorney. She opened by criticizing a lower court judge by name.
I have a tremendous amount of respect for Judge Bolton, but I have to say in this ruling, she got this wrong.
She's talking about this ruling last year, one that created a huge legal risk for Phoenix PD. But before we get to that, we need to lay out the basics of Francis Salazar's case. She spent 22 months in prison for alleged drug possession. The conviction was based solely on the testimony of Officer Anthony Armour. No video. No pictures, no drug tests, no physical evidence, just his word.
You have an officer who got on the stand and told you, I confronted her and she said, I'll take responsibility for it. That's it. End of inquiry.
The judge eventually tossed Francis's conviction because Armour and Phoenix PD didn't tell the court he was a documented liar. A year before her trial, he falsely arrested a different woman and lied about it. Hiding something like that is unconstitutional. In the 1963 case, Brady v. Maryland, the Supreme Court ruled negative information or exculpatory evidence has to be disclosed to defendants.
So can you address this issue about...
And that takes us back to the city's appeal. The lower court judge ruled Officer Armour and Phoenix PD are not protected by qualified immunity when they didn't turn over that information before Francis's trial. Quote, it would not be unreasonable for a jury to conclude that Salazar's injury and her 22-month confinement would have been avoided if PPD had implemented proper training and supervision regarding police officers' obligations under Brady. And that ruling means the case will go to trial unless they settle, where the Ninth Circuit overturns that decision.
She got this wrong. Officer Armour is entitled to qualified immunity.
Now here's a timeline at the heart of this case. In November 2015, Armour was accused of falsely arresting a different woman and lying about it. In April 2016, that internal investigation was completed, confirming he lied. Then, 4 months later, in August 2016, Francis had her trial and Armour testified. But the court was not informed of Armour's past lies.
And that's why I think
the city's attorney argued two main things. One, it wasn't Armour's responsibility to disclose his lies. That was Phoenix PD's. And two, the department didn't have to turn over the finalized internal investigation yet. Why? Because even after an internal investigation is finished, the city doesn't consider it completed until they finalize the discipline. And that can take months, even a year or more. The panel of judges drilled into that argument.
If the facts are done, and the facts are that he lied, and he lied a lot, then I don't see why any of the rest of the process is terribly relevant. And it's pretty clear that someone who lies and then gets on the stand, that's Brady Giglio is to that person.
he disputes that he lied.
I know, but the factual findings were made, and you've now conceded they can't be reviewed.
I understand that, but that's one of the benefits to the municipality making the disclosures instead of leaving that to the officers. Police officers aren't lawyers. Police officers have different skill sets.
And with time running out, the city's attorney tried to tell the court the ripple effect this could have if they let Salazar's case go forward against Armour.
If a police officer could be held liable in this case, you would have
Counsel,
thousands of cases.
I'd let you go over. I think we have your argument, and I appreciate the arguments of both counsel this morning. And the case of Salazar versus Phoenix will be submitted for decision.
We should point out sometimes the feel and tone of these hearings don't always match the final result. As of right now, there's no set date for a decision, but it usually takes several weeks, sometimes more. I'm investigator Dave Biscobee.